Hi, I'm Stuart from Hi-Fi Pig. We're here in the PMC room at the Bristol HiFi Show 2024. I'm with Elliot Whyte, who headed up the project for a product that we were introduced to this morning at the show. It's the Active 23i loudspeaker from PMC. Mm-hmm. A very interesting product, which is a bit of a no-brainer really, but we're going to go into the whole product in a little bit. But I was surprised this morning in the meeting, in the press launch, to hear that PMC launched in
91, I'd say. 33 years ago.
Which is astonishing.
I think the more astonishing thing is that the first product was the BB5. So not a small product by any measure, and it went straight into BBC Maida Vale as the first product launch. And that was indeed an active product.
And you've always been associated with active products.
Yeah, so, I mean, PMC, as many people know, is active in the professional studio market as well as the hi-fi. And we've always done active products within the professional market. We do have done a few active products in our higher end in the hi-fi market, but this is our first active product at the kind of price point which a lot of people are going to be able to access that technology.
And how many products are in the range?
We've got twenty5i active range is made of 4 models, all 2 ways, 2 bookshelves and 2 floor standers. So people familiar with PMC's existing products will recognize the 521i, 22i, 23i and 24i. But we're also offering the product as an upgrade kit, as we have here, for existing customers who've got either 25i or the previous generation 25 series products.
So tell us a little bit about this. It's a really interesting concept, and I looked to, you said you could do in the press launch that anybody, you can either have a dealer fit this or you can do it yourself in 5 minutes. And I looked at that and went, I don't think I could do that in 5 minutes, but looking at it in more detail, it does look fairly simple.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. So a lot of people will know that on the 25 series, there's quite a large back panel. And that was always because in our heads, we were thinking, maybe we're going to make that active. So we want to give ourselves that space already. So it is simply a case of unscrewing your passive crossover module from the back of your passive product, your existing product, disconnect the internal cable, reconnect it to this multi-pin connector, which is all pre-wired, so there's no chance of connecting that wrong, getting the phase of any of your drivers wrong. You basically just plug that in, position this model selector, which lets you choose which model you've got. It's got a specific dedicated crossover for each individual model. We've not tried to cut corners and have the same crossover on everything. So you just move that into whichever slot is appropriate, screw the amp in, and you're good to go.
And what's in there? I know you've got ice power amplifier modules.
So this is a 2-way amplifier assembly. We've got an ice power module which is 2 channels of 100 watts, and then we've got a fully analog active crossover with 24 dB slopes and very high precision components on it.
And what kind of feedback have you had from? I know it's the first day, so it's a little bit difficult to gauge, but
I think everyone really likes the concept of it. What I like about it is that it gives you so much more flexibility. It allows you to have a minimal setup where you haven't got lots of different power amplifiers, lots of cables. It's all integrated. It's simple from that point of view, but on the other hand, it gives you the flexibility to go with, say, a 1-box streaming preamp for now. Maybe in a few years you want to upgrade that. That's fine, but you've still got a baseline speaker that is not going to need to change because you've got the performance you need.
And the upgrade kit is, I know the price, and when we were told the price of it, which is about
£1,800 for the pair upgrade kit.
Which is not silly money at all, is it?
No, I think when you consider what you're getting, you're getting effectively 4 channels of 100-watt amplification, as well as a very high precision analog crossover, and it's doing it in an active system gives you benefits that for the most part you can't get just going with a passive system with an external power amp. No matter how much you spend on your power amp, you can't get the benefit of it being an active system and all the performance enhancement that gives you.
And what do you see as the benefits?
So the first thing I'd say is what I said earlier about the precision of the components. Because we're doing line level crossover here, the components are much tighter tolerance. For example, the resistors in this crossover are 0.5% tolerance. And that means we get much more repeatability. You don't get any variation from batch to batch. It means it's a much better representation of what we perceive the product to be when we designed it. It also means you're getting less problems with coloration or heat dissipation in the crossover. It's just a much more precise way of doing it. That's in terms of the crossover. In terms of the amplification side, you've got a direct coupling between the power amplifier and the drive unit, which is giving you much higher damping factor. So you're going to have much better control over those drive units, and you're going to get less intermodulation distortion and things like that as well.
Okay, and what the speakers in the range? I think there are 4 speakers in the range.
Yes, so 2521, which is a 2-way bookshelf model with a 5 or 5.5 inch woofer. You've got the 2522i, which is again a bookshelf 2-way, but it's got a 6-inch woofer. And then you've got the 2 floor standing models, the 23 and the 24, which again they're 2-way. One's got a 5-inch, one's got a 6-inch.
And what are the prices?
So they are, I have to remind myself, 3975 for the 2521s, 5275 for the 22s, 5975 for the 23s, and 7975 for the 24s.
And again, that's not silly money at all when you take into account that you don't have to go out and buy an amplifier. You can just add a streaming pre or whatever. So it works out good value for money.
Yeah, it's around £1,400 more than the passive versions, which for the benefits you're getting and the integration of the amplifier, I think is a very good deal.
And I quite like the whole concept of PMC, that it's the professional monitoring company.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of the speakers that you listen to music at home if you have PMC are the same speakers that are potentially used in studios around the world.
I think
really good sense.
You can see from a lot of the demo material we've been playing today how that's not just a slogan, it is true. We've been playing a lot of tracks where we've said, look, this was recorded in a studio that had PMC, it was mixed in a studio that had PMC, it was mastered in a studio that had PMC, and now you're listening to it at this show on PMC. So it's the whole signal chain all the way through. And the thing also to note is that although we do operate in a professional market and a hi-fi market, the sound character across both is very similar. And we do have some recording studios that use some of our hi-fi products. Okay. So that's kind of a testament to how close you're getting to what is in those recording studios when these records are being made.
Okay. And whereabouts are we taking this next? Are you going to do more active speakers? Is that where you see the future, or?
I think it's definitely the way the market will be going. I think customers more and more want an integrated product like that has a lot of functionality. I think we have to see where it goes. Like I said, we've been doing active in terms of the professional market for a long time, and we're on board with that a lot earlier than the hi-fi market. But I think the hi-fi market is now realising the benefits of that and embracing it.
I think you're right. I think the whole audiophile thing is changing somewhat, and people are being more open to new ideas and as consumers, the home environment is changing, and people don't necessarily, they still want great music and great quality sound reproduction, but what they don't want, or not everybody wants, is 1,000,001 boxes.
They much more value functionality these days, I think.
Absolutely.
So we want to get the balance where we have functionality and performance.
Of course, yeah. Okay, Elliot, thank you ever so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
And all the best with the new speakers.
Thank you.